I am honored and delighted to be back amidst all of you to address this virtual meeting of Ministers of Health of the member states of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. On 24th July 2020, at the third meeting of health ministers of the SCO member states, we discussed the COVID-19 pandemic situation in our respective countries and exchanged best practices and also shared positive experiences in combating the deadly virus. As of today, it is about 16 months since COVID-19 was declared a public health emergency of international concern, and it shook the entire world, including the most developed nations. Despite our best efforts, high turbulence continues to persist in global politics and economy. The process of economic globalization is hampered by the growth of unilateral and protectionist measures, and there is unprecedented instability in financial markets and international trade. Excellencies, the pandemic has shown that nobody is safe until all of us are safe. This has also highlighted the need for greater collaboration between countries on various aspects of health. Therefore, it is desirable that we should continue to exchange our experiences, learnings, best practices, as well as innovations to strengthen our public health systems. We must admit that in times of such a global crisis, which is compounded further by ever-evolving new variants of the coronavirus, both risk management and mitigation is required, and there is a need for continued strengthening of global partnerships besides prioritizing investment in public health. We need to conquer the adversary with collaborations and by supplementing each other's capacities, by pooling our resources and through enhanced technical support. This pandemic has dealt a profound blow to the SCO member states on the health and economic fronts, leading to an extraordinarily high cost of the economy and at the cost of precious human lives. One of the areas of strategic importance in COVID-19 disease mitigation is the safeguarding of the health interests of the global community, which is possible only with well-qualified, trained and motivated healthcare professionals supported by a robust policy framework. India believes that besides bilateral discussions on the issue, a multilateral approach which would create an institutional framework for mobility of health workers is the need of the hour. For example, India is currently collaborating with Japan and discussing with the United Kingdom and other countries from the EU regarding a nursing service exchange program. The pandemic has made us realize the need for collectively addressing methods to mitigate the global health risk and emerging threats using the One Health approach. This is a participatory approach, and to take this forward and enhance risk management and mitigation, India has started the Institute for One Health of International Standard, which may be leveraged to have a One Health International Hub in India, which will address existing or potential risks which originate through the interface of animal-human systems. Excellencies, COVID-19 pandemic and its impact across the world has brought to fore the importance of collaboration and the need for a globally unified response. All nations are facing critical challenges in their battle against the pandemic, and we all know that it's going to be a long journey ahead. A holistic approach to build an institutional response to pandemic management focused on building capacities of all member states with respect to pandemic preparedness is an imperative. The Indian government has been following a preemptive, proactive, graded response characterized by a whole of society, whole of government approach to manage the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. We are working extensively to increase our core capacities to manage the present situation and ensure long-term interventions for mitigating any such future crisis. We have faced the lethal second wave bravely by implementing stringent interventions that have gradually brought down the mortality rate and ensured speedy recoveries. Excellencies, India, like many other countries, believes that there is an urgent need for carrying out major reforms in the World Health Organization so that we can ensure timely, focused, and effective responses for future potential pandemics. However, to every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. The COVID-19 pandemic threw an unprecedented challenge confronting the world with its socio-economic impact beyond the health sector. But at the same time, it also provided a historic opportunity to build a new global partnership with reformed and effective multilateralism. We hope that inter alia, the work of the Independent Panel for Pandemic Preparedness and Response, the Independent Oversight and Advisory Committee, as well as the International Health Regulations Review Committees under the WHO Health Emergencies Program will be crucial in steering a direction to achieve the much needed multilateral cooperation in the field of global health. Excellencies, at present we all are aware that vaccination is an important strategy for disease prevention and it plays a critical role in mitigating the impact of the pandemic. I am happy to state that India has utilized digital technologies extensively for inventory management and timely distribution of the vaccines. We started the world's largest vaccination drive against COVID-19 on 16th January 2021 in a bid to vaccinate our entire population based on priority age groups. We also launched the Vaccine Matri initiative, through which we have engaged bilaterally with various countries to provide vaccines on humanitarian grounds. I would also like to emphasize how the Indian traditional system of medicine has contributed substantially in boosting the immunity of the general population during COVID-19. It is important that such rich traditional knowledge of medicines and treatment needs to be integrated into the modern healthcare system through investments at different levels, not only as a response to COVID-19, but also to enhance the public health system. Excellencies, under the able leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, India had proposed the setting up of an expert working group on traditional medicine under the existing institutional framework of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. A draft to this effect was also circulated last year. I take this opportunity to propose that we should hold a meeting soon to discuss and finalize the modalities of the expert working group. This should be done on a war footing so that we may set up the expert group much ahead of the meeting next year. We shall be grateful if member states could extend their kind support and concurrence to the initiative and begin work in this domain. A lesson this pandemic has taught us is that preparedness costs only a fraction of its impact, but the returns on this investment are exponential. The COVID-19 pandemic has created disruption in normal life, but has also provided a steep learning curve for all of us to be more resilient and better prepared for the future. Friends, the historic linkages between the SCO nations are centuries old, and it's just not geography that connects us. Our societies have been enriched by links of culture, cuisine, and commerce. I call upon all of you today to remind each other of this bedrock of our modern day relationship. It is for the sake of this ages-old friendship that we all must stand together and work for each other's betterment and for the betterment of the SCO region. Only shared responsibilities and shared idealism will help us achieve these shared goals. On behalf of India, I thank you all for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share our experiences. I am confident that this meeting shall further pave the way for increased collaborations to fight the pandemic collectively.